Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the SpursRelated YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone is doing very well today. Today, we have got some good news and some bad news, but is there more bad news than good news? Well, time will tell as we give this update today, but amazing support on the channel, guys. Really appreciate all of the likes, all of the subscribes. We gained 100 subscribers in one day, which is just, for me, it's mind-blowing. Really appreciate the support. And yeah, Frank also did a video earlier on today. So if you haven't watched that, go and watch that after this. It's just essentially breaking down what we need to do before the end of the window. But as the numbers grow, you know the rules, guys. Make sure you're smashing like, make sure you're smashing subscribe, make sure you're turning on the notification bell if you are new to the channel. And as I said, today there is a lot of updates. So I wouldn't say it was a quiet day today, but I'm sure people are going to be reacting to that latest news about 10 minutes ago. But anyway, enough waffling from me. Frank Thomas, a.k.a. Thomas Frank's AI son. Frank, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. There's some good stuff, some bad stuff. Some stuff I'm very disappointed about, but some stuff I'm quite excited about with Tom today. So quite a lot to sort of dive into and chat about.
Absolutely. There's a lot to dive into, mate. And yeah, looking forward to your first performance with your new microphone. Look at that. We're already getting upgrades in here, guys. So, you know, maybe I'm due an upgrade on my old mic. So, yeah, if you do want to support the channel in any way, shape or form, the super chat option is in the live chat. And not only does that mean you're contributing and helping us, you also get talking points. You get the chat completely stopped for you for a particular talking point. So that super chat is down below. Plug in that at the start, as well as membership options, which are in the description right at the top. If you want to become a member, you get two benefits. Priority in the chat. We bring your stuff up first. And also, you can come on this very live show with us today, tomorrow, whenever we get fan opinions. So yeah, anyway, enough of the plug-in. You know the drill, guys. We are going to get straight into things. And here is the latest from Fabrizio Romano. He's becoming a bit of a villain in the Tottenham scene at the moment. I've got to be honest. I love Fabrizio Romano. I'm not sure I love him, actually. Let me just refrain from that. But anyway, he says that Man City have informed Tottenham today that they are not changing their position on Savinho. Man City Football Club have no intention to let him go, not even for a fee of over 70 million euros. He's seen as a key player for the season and for the future. This also blocks any chance of Rodrigo to Man City. I don't personally understand why the Rodrigo thing's directly related to it. Like, if City want Rodrigo, surely that doesn't hinge on, you know, whether Savio goes, or maybe it does. What do you think, Frank?
First of all, I think and I know that I'm really disappointed. He was the one that I've kind of said about the whole time, even before the XAVI one and everything, that he was the one that I wanted. Yeah, he was the one that was going to get me off my seat and really excite me. I thought his ceiling was so high, and I also thought, unlike maybe the market in attacking midfielders or whatever, I think the market's quite dry on that left wing. So it felt like a really good opportunity. As a comment has come through, and I was kind of going to say it now, that it would not shock me at all if Tottenham go for Rodrigo on loan in the slightest. Not that it's been really mentioned. I saw someone rubbish play the other day, I think, but it feels like the sort of thing they might do, because the owners and whatever will see it as, we're bringing in a big player from Real Madrid, everyone's going to be happy all of a sudden. That wouldn't shock me at all if they get that done on loan this week. But in terms of Savinho, I'm really quite disappointed. As you say, I mean, City can kind of buy and have who they want, it feels like sometimes. So yeah, it feels a bit bizarre. They had to get rid of Savinho in order to bring in Rodrigo. I imagine it probably wasn't fully the case. But yeah, I'm just overriding sort of disappointment with it all, to be honest.
Yeah, mate, I do agree. I do agree. It's very disappointing. I kind of talked myself into, you know, not to repeat what you're saying, but Savio being a sort of number one pick. we always knew it was going to be difficult to negotiate with Manchester City based on history, with us essentially, I guess, not letting Harry Kane go to Manchester City in 2021, 2022 sort of time. It is disappointing. It is disappointing. I'm going to catch up with the chat. There's around, nearly 100 of you already in the chat. Great to see so many faces. I hope you've been enjoying all the content lately. We've been absolutely smashing it out, live streams and videos. So make sure you are showing your support by, you know what I'm saying, smashing that thumbs up. I only get 3 per video, so that's one used. No more smashing the thumbs up, but everyone smash the thumbs up so I don't have to say it again. Peter Agger's in the house. He's saying, let's hope that we get a couple of quality players in now. I'm sick of rumours and rejections. Now is the time for Levy to act. If he doesn't back Frank with 2 to 3 quality players, I give up. Fair enough, mate. I think you're in the same boat as a lot. I swear Levy is a joke, says Abdul Rahman. 3 weeks for them to say no. This is it, isn't it? It's the reoccurring theme of how much of the journalists play a part in saying we're still interested, we're edging closer, we're progressing. How much of that is true? I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, can I just say something very quickly? And can I pull up a comment very quickly as well? I don't know if you've seen this, James, or not, but on our Spurs-related group about 30 seconds ago, that this guy in James Davies was being sort of spoken about. That's why I was looking down a minute ago. I saw it come through. He's been on Twitter. He's sort of come out of nowhere, this guy, in the last sort of week, and everything he's written about Tottenham has been right in the last week. I have no clue who he is, but he called Savinho being done yesterday, and he's called XAVI, Simons and Basuma, I think, quite early as well. So that's quite an interesting point. May have to have a look at him.
Right. We'll have to keep an eye on him then. Maybe the new tier 1-2 journalist. It's me. It's just me with a different surname. No, I'm joking. Zoe's in the house saying, I think it's time to full send on XAVI, Simons, Lookman and Paqueta with Savinho completely off. I completely agree. We've got the money. Simon Cohen's in the house. Big up, Simon. He's saying, hi, boys. Savio is off. Won't sell. A1 is also in the house saying, hello, lads. Hello, A1. Hello, David, as well in the chat. The only players coming into Spurs in this next 5 days is a Basuma replacement. I hope you're wrong, mate. I hope you're wrong. I'm getting angry. Simon says, I think tomorrow's going to be a good day. I wake up every day thinking today's going to be the day we're going to get transfer news. And I'm thinking, we're nearly at Thursday now. I mean, it's silly. What, are we just going to do everything on Monday? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like the naughty kid at school that does their homework last minute or just doesn't do it. Let's keep quiet, guys, because nothing is going to happen. Nothing at all. Johannes, I always see in the YouTube comments, mate, you always crack me up with your pessimistic sort of views. But, listen, you're also realistic, A&R's in the house. Big up A&R. Saying those City bums spend so much on attackers every window, like 100 mil last January for Marmouche, quite a lot on Cherky. But now they're being stingy with us. Salia Drabo on Facebook. Bonne chance Spurs pour le renfort des joueurs. Let me know how I did in my French. I could have also just read something out that was very rude, and I'm apologising if that is rude. I have no idea.
I think, and this is my sole guess, I think it's something to do with what are the chances Spurs bring in new players.
Hey, you've been on Duolingo.
I'm going to be put to shame here when I get it wrong. I think something along those lines.
Let us know if anyone of the 100 in the chat knows what that means. Salia, I'm appreciating your comment on Facebook. Come and join us over on YouTube, mate. Come and join us over on YouTube. Let us know. Hope Gaming, why don't we just sign Rodrigo? As you were saying, Frank. At least test the waters. Come on, pure negligence. Yeah. Simon says just get Lookman. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. The chat's been great again. David Clark, the only players coming into Spurs in these last 5 days is definitely Basuma's replacement in Rabiot. Not Rabiot, man. Not Rabiot. Come on, please, no. James buys Spurs. Honestly, if I had the money, I would. Do you think Levy's interview plays a part in City not wanting to do business? Good question, Jack. Hope you're doing well, by the way, my friend. Not entirely sure. And by the way, Jack, if you want to come on the show at any point, let me know. Let us know in the comments and I'll send you a link. Because it'd be good to get some of the members on, get their say. There we go. James Davies, you already said about that. He's reported on XAVI, Simons and Frank. We should go and get Rodrigo. A lot of people saying the same. Brandon Wallace in the house. Tottenham are in talks to sign me and loan me back to my work for the season. Just a few £1 million difference in evaluation. I'm totally keen on the move. Massive news. Paqueta Basuma swap deal. That'd be a swap deal plus a lot of cash, surely. Simons to Spurs. This is the link. We're gonna have to get it out because everyone thinks I'm joking, guys. I'll catch up with the chat in a minute, but let's get on to things. So Savio, Frank, are we saying that's done? Are we putting a line in it under it?
That's done, dusted. Ain't happening.
Right. I don't think Rodrigo's happening either. By the way, I don't think it's happening.
No, I think it's unlikely, but it wouldn't shock me if they got him on loan with some option of 70 million or something. It just seems like the sort of thing that Tottenham would do, to be honest.
Sure. Okay, so anyway, we'll move things on. XAVI Simons, according to Bild, the German aggregator, Tottenham are prepared to meet the €70 million asking price to sign Leipzig midfielder XAVI Simons. Thoughts on this, mate?
Yeah, I think it's quite exciting. What is that? What, 60 million quid, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So probably similar to what Eze would have cost. And same as obviously Morgan Gibbs White. So yeah, I mean, it's quite exciting. Was he my first choice? No. But do I think there is a reason to be excited by this sort of deal? I do. Yeah, I'm sort of a little bit. I'm excited. I'm a little bit. I question a few things. I question if he sort of if he was going to use us as a little bit of a stepping stone to end up at a bigger club in a couple of years. I also question how much he wants to go to Chelsea. If that's true, and obviously given what Thomas Frank said the other day, then it would feel like they're kind of buying him for the sake of buying him. If he doesn't actually really want to be at Tottenham, but if he wants to come to Tottenham and he buys into the project for 5 years or something, then I think this is quite an exciting deal. I think you're bringing in a high quality player that has an unbelievably high ceiling, not only now but in 3 years' time. You're buying a player that has played at the top level, right? So when you get players that play for bigger clubs, and I know I mentioned obviously Emerson Royale and Reguilon were kind of the exceptions to that when they came from the two Spanish ones. But when you buy players from bigger clubs, they tend to be of quite high quality because these guys bring high quality players through the door. And so they tend to have something that sort of separates them. Bentancur, Romero, Kulusevski, Paulinho, obviously looks like it as well. There's a reason these big clubs buy these players. And so there's a reason that Barcelona had him, there's a reason that PSG had him, there's a reason that Leipzig had him. I guess as you could also argue on the flip side, there's a reason they all got rid of him. So it's kind of, it goes both ways. But I think overall, if they got this deal done, am I happy? No, I'm not, because I think the whole thing's still been a disaster. But on the flip sides, I think it would be quite an exciting one. And he certainly is one that probably gets you off your seat and makes you want to watch Tottenham. And they're the sort of players that I want at the moment.
100%, mate. I mean, we reviewed on the stream yesterday. It was doing very, very well. Everyone was enjoying me sharing my screen and sorry, I just saw a chat. Assessing the stats and assessing the breakdowns. And XAVI Simons can fit on the left, can fit in the number 10, versatile. Still only 22 years of age, but has had quite a lot of experience so far, really, at Barcelona, at Leipzig. We can get up his stats again for those that are watching today that may have missed yesterday's show. But for me, XAVI Simons should now probably be, if they're going to listen to offers, he should be number one pretty much, along with, I think, Ademola Lookman, I think would be an exceptional signing as well. I think he kind of mirrors Kudus, but on the left, sort of strong, quick, very good at dribbling, great goal contributions. And XAVI Simons has a lot of goal contributions. We'll bring up his FB ref again in a minute. But he's an exceptional player. And I think he would genuinely be one that would elevate Tottenham to another level. As you brought up, Frank. I need glasses. As you got his return. 10 goals, 7 assists in 25 for Leipzig last year. 10 goals, 13 assists for Leipzig the year before. So he's basically getting a goal contribution, I'd say, every 120, 30 minutes, would you say?
Yeah, around that, I think. They're certainly pretty solid numbers. I mean, are they perfect? No, but I think they're solid enough that you could work on it.
Absolutely. We'll get up his FB ref as well, but yeah. And then for the season that's just started, he's already got a goal in the DFB Pokal, their version of the FA Cup, right? Goal
Yeah.
and an assist. So, very, very good start to his season. Very, very good player. It just reminds me of, like, who does he remind me of? Like, in terms of a mold of a player. I'm trying to think. But he's very exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Like, even when he's played for the Dutch national team, he's always lit the stage up, really, and really given a good account of himself. So, guys, let me know in the chat. Little ones and twos time. One, if you would love XAVI Simons and you think we should prioritize him. Number two, if you wouldn't, and if it's a number two, let us know who you'd go for instead. Is it not stupid to go after Simons to be hijacked by Chelsea this time? Well, we'd actually be hijacking Chelsea, technically, because he's been linked with Chelsea all this time, unless I'm reading your comment wrong. Sell Son and not replace him, that's unforgivable, says Danny. Do you think Simons would get the goal contribution Sonny got for the last God knows how many years?
No, not instantly. But what I do think is that Simons is young, and you can kind of build him into the system and build him into. I mean, he's 22, right? And he's only 22 just at the back end of last season. So the guy's very young, and so you can build him into kind of what you want him to be. I think he's more of a 10 than Son. I do kind of agree with the comment you brought up a minute ago about, is it slightly silly to go after him, the Chelsea hijack thing? Maybe not for the same reason that he's suggesting, because we are kind of the one hijacking them if it happens. But it does feel like they have to get they've got to get players in, right? And it feels like everyone they're going for, I think it was Billy T put out the other day, or one of them said, maybe the transfer plan of going for players that aren't for sale and have top clubs going after them isn't the most clever thing in the world, because you aren't going to win a lot of them, right? So Savio hasn't happened, Eze hasn't happened, Gibbs White hasn't happened. That was maybe slightly different of a situation, but there's a lot of these guys we're going for, and we're not getting them because they're going to bigger and better than us. And so if all of a sudden we go put all our eggs into this basket now of going for XAVI Simons for the last 3 or 4 or 5 days of the window, this is what we want. And then Chelsea do pick him off and go and take him, because if Chelsea want to buy him, they'll buy him. It seems like he wants to go there. They obviously have an interest. They will pay double what we will in terms of wages, right? They'll match the fee, pay him what he wants, done. And they'll probably offer better payment plans and whatever. So he'll end up there if Chelsea want him. And so the risk is you put everything into him now when there is another big club lurking who can offer more than you can, and they will go and take him. And that is a concern to me, that then all of a sudden, if they put everything into it, like they have with Savinho and Eze and Gibbs White for the last sort of 2 months, that all of a sudden you go into maybe Sunday evening and he ends up at Chelsea and you are left with no time. You're left with nothing. So I'm all for going for him, but you've got to have a couple of options now. I mean, I imagine they are really full-blown panicking at Tottenham now, because I don't know what they're doing.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. It is kind of panic stations, isn't it? Like we're starting to throw out ideas from all sorts of, it's becoming like our way of discussing things on this live stream. It then starts to trickle into, I'm not saying they're watching us, I'm saying like the general Spurs community, when they're talking about XAVI Simons or they're talking about Semenyo or Morgan Rogers or whatever it is, we then get links from various sources that we're going to be in for the player. And it's like, it's just repetitive. Like, when are we actually going to be putting in bids and actually going in for a player and, not messing around? I'm getting a bit bored of it. I don't know about you guys. I'm just like, if we haven't signed one player by Saturday, you're going to hear that in the stadium. You're going to hear those Levy out, we want Enoch out chants. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, mate.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch it. Go on, mate.
So I was going to say, and that's, I mean, I never in a million years thought that we'd be going to the third league game of the season and still only had the guys that we signed going into the first game. I mean,
I'm not surprised, mate. I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not surprised. I'm just sick of it.
I actually am, to be honest, a little bit. That, don't get me wrong, I have very little faith in the board and a lot what they do. But when all the Eze stuff was breaking in Savinho, maybe we weren't going to get those guys. Maybe there were smoke screens, but it felt like something else was going to happen. It felt like something was moving at Tottenham. And I mean, if you spin it back, as I say, to about mid-July, a month, 6 weeks ago, right? And I remember having the conversation, and I can't remember who we had on, but we were speaking with a guest, and we said, Kudus has come in, Gibbs White was coming in, Romero's staying. Obviously, he's staying now, but Romero's staying. It was when we had Ben Jacobs on, right? And we were going Saudi investment, new stadium rights and everything. We were on such a high, right? And it felt like this might be it. They were backing someone. Someone was backing someone, right? Someone was backing Thomas Frank, whether that be Levy, Charrington, Enoch, whoever, right? The Saudi, Aramco, all these different stories. And yet, since then, we've just stagnated. It's very rare as well that what goes on the pitch is actually better than what goes off at Tottenham. But yeah, it's quite a dire situation actually.
I completely agree, mate. We've got some breaking news. It's nothing to do with incomings. It's actually to do with outgoings, and it's to do with Luka Vuskovic. So I'm going to pop that on screen just now. With the 150 of you watching, please do me a massive favour and smash the like button. It's free to do. There's only 30 likes on the stream at the moment. Let's get that to 100. And please subscribe as well if you're new. We're on the way to 5K. And turn on the noti bells. Frank did a video earlier. Those notification bells would have been going off for those of you that are subscribed to the noti bells. So, yeah, never miss a video that way. So that's also free. And as I said before, if you want to become a member, come on this show. Like I think we're going to get one of the members on today. Then become a member. I think there's a join button and it's also in the description. Someone's saying that Thomas Frank and Xavi Simons are having a meeting at 7, according to James Davis. I hope so. I hope we hear some news at 8 o'clock saying Thomas Frank's convinced him. I really do. Like I said, I'm going to share my screen. And while I do that, here we go. Not that one. Sorry about that. Right, here we go. So Fabrizio Romano 1 minute ago. Luka Vuskovic will fly tomorrow to Germany for medical as new Hamburg player on loan from Spurs. Now, Frank, I'm going to hand the mic to you, but for me, I don't understand why we're doing this because he was exceptional in pre-season, really good, really. Yeah. We thought he could almost break into the first team, that good, right? So he's arguably on the fringe of first team, definitely in the run-in for the Carabao Cup and FA Cup games early on. We have Danzo and Dragusin, who Dragusin's coming back from injury. Don't know when. Danzo, he's obviously probably the first choice centre back. Then you got Davies. And who else have we got? I mean, like literally, who else have we got? Gray. Kota Sakai's injured. Archie Gray plays midfield most of the time. So my question for the chat is, and for you, Frank, why have we done this? Why have we done this?
I think you've probably asked that question for most things we do. I don't know. They must have someone lined up. It's the only thing I can think. They must have someone lined up because they're just getting weaker and weaker. It feels like every week we seem to get weaker. And that's, I mean, I find the actual loan itself very bizarre because you're sending them out that they drew 0-0 in their first game of the season. So maybe defensively they'll be okay, but they've just been promoted. So you would guess that they're probably going to be defensively pretty poor, in a pretty poor defensive sort of league anyway, that they're probably going to be pretty naff. So why send him somewhere where every week he's probably going to get exposed and look vulnerable? And I know he's going to probably play because he'll probably be their best player, but it feels like he probably could have gone up a little bit, or goes to the Championship or whatever. So that's the loan itself I find bizarre, but the fact they've loaned him out this late as well, it must mean that they're getting someone in.
Who do you think? Like a Nathan Ake or someone?
There's a comment. I don't know if that's. I'd have to check that. Apparently his brother plays for Hamburg. If that's true, then that makes more sense to me. I didn't know that.
But it doesn't. It
makes more sense in that you're letting him sort of learn European football a little bit with some cover. But I mean, there's another comment. We have a bad track record of giving players bad loans. Yeah, I mean, we there's some stinkers out there, and this feels like just a very odd one.
Will he
I
play
mean,
every week for them? I mean, you'd like
I
to
think
hope
so.
so.
I think he'll probably be there. I imagine he'll probably be the best player, or give or take. So I think he'll play.
Their best player in the whole squad.
Probably give or take. I mean, given if
Really?
he's good enough, we thought, to be part of this sort of Spurs team, then I imagine he'll be. I mean, I saw that we've got it in here, and I saw a comment about it a minute ago about Nathan Ake. I mentioned him earlier on in the offline video I did earlier on. He was one that I said I want, and I said that I would be very pleased with. Then obviously the story broke about an hour ago that Nathan Ake is a target. He's one I've said for a couple of weeks now that I think would be a good buy, because you could probably get him for 20 million. He's experienced enough. He's good at the top level. He's a great defender. He's good at the top level. He's left-footed. It makes sense to me. As I say, it wouldn't be 40 million. It'd probably be 20, 25 million. I think that'd be a really good deal for Tottenham. They've got to obviously act fast, and with Aït-Nouri getting injured, it probably doesn't help. But that would be a good replacement for me, I think, for Vescovic, if Vescovic was to
go. Absolutely. Apparently his brother's on a 4-year drugs ban. Probably, maybe he's on it as well, because he was unbelievable in that pre-season friendly. I'm thinking this guy isn't pure. No, I'm joking. I'm only joking. I'm not going to speculate like that. But no, I just think, Vuskovic, I think that's the wrong move. I'm not even worried about where he's going and the fact that, like you said, Valise was a poor loan. I'm worried about our team, and I think he would be a perfect player on the fringe of our team, especially for the bench. I mean, you look at our bench at the moment, we don't have squad depth. I don't think we have adequate squad depth. So why are we loaning a player out that could be very, very useful for Tottenham this season? I don't get it.
Yeah, good.
Is it a season-long loan? I believe it is. So it's like,
I think so, yeah.
Just makes no sense. We'll be sharing all the latest news that does come up throughout the show. So if anything does go off, let me know in the chat. And if I've missed it, I'll bring it up on screen. So Frank, this one, Lookman, Sizzy Private. We are really scraping the barrel here. But apparently one of the in the knows, Lookman is now our number one target. I mean, at this point, it's just guesswork on all of them, isn't it? It's just guesswork on absolutely all of them.
I mean, to be fair, he's usually pretty good. He's one of the 2 or 3 that I kind of trust more than others. I've kind of said what I think about Lookman. I don't think Lookman's ceiling is particularly high. I don't think he takes you up a level. I think he offers something that maybe we don't have on that left-hand side. I think he, as I say, he offers probably a more consistent source of goals on that left-hand side, which we don't have now that Son's gone. But I'm not convinced. I think it's a real drop down from Savinho, and I'd rather take a bit of a risk on someone who has a higher ceiling and could end up being a real top player, but is already a good player. Not someone that is another Alberto Tel, like Malik Fofana I mentioned earlier on, who's too similar to that, who you don't really know what you're going to get, but someone, a Savinho or whoever, who's 21, 22. XAVI Simons is probably quite a good example of that. 21, 22, 23 years old, that sort of range, that has played a couple of seasons at the top level or in and around Europe, but has a really high ceiling. And that's the sort of players that I think we should be going for. And I don't think Lookman is that. I think Lookman is decent. I think he offers things, as I say, that we don't maybe have on that left-hand side, but he's certainly not my number one. I would be okay with it. I would be pretty all right with it. But as I said, I don't think people would talk about him in the manner and the fashion they do in this country if it wasn't for the one game that we probably all watched of him in the last 3 or 4 years.
I disagree. I know we disagreed on it the other day. I disagree. I think for me, Lookman, and I've actually warmed to it more and more the more I think about it. I was on the fence at the start. I was like, Lookman, he never had a great spell in the Prem. I was thinking a little bit about that. You say, like, at the end there, he had sort of one good game. Well, one game that everyone saw on the big stage, and that because he scored a hat-trick, everyone's like, wow, he's incredible. But I take his whole stats, and I'm going to bring them on screen in a minute to try and convince some of you, because we did this yesterday. And although stats in other leagues aren't necessarily relevant to the Premier League, I do hear that. We've had numerous examples of where players in other leagues have done well, but But the thing is, we don't have to get Lookman on a permanent. We don't have to go and spend 50 million on the guy or however much they'd want. We can just do what a classic Levy deal would be and get him out, get him in on a loan for a season, and then pay with an option to buy. Maybe we don't then have to buy him. You know, with Matthias Tell, for example, that was a loan with an option to buy. We decided to buy him. In my opinion, probably not the right decision, but we do those deals quite often, don't we? So, you know, I think Lookman is very good. As Michael's comment down here, he's contributed to 20 goals last season. I think Serie A and Bundesliga are more similar to the Prem than the La Liga. I'm not saying definitely identical. I think the Prem is more fast-paced. But the Serie A has a very, very good defence. Defensively, the Serie A has always been a very good defensive league. Perhaps not quite as much as it was in the 90s, 2000s and 2010s. But I'd say that most Serie A teams have a pretty hardcore, solid defence. And I think they're tough to beat. So when you look at his numbers in Serie A, Frank, they're pretty good, mate. I'm going to bring them on screen. I know you'd have seen them. But for me, Lookman should be a player we're now looking to. Considering we have such limited options, I think we should be having a look at this.
Yeah, I mean, given that as you say, given that we don't have many options, it's probably one of the better options there is. My kind of thing with it, right? So he played under Gasperini for Atalanta, and Gasperini's one. I'm not a massive watcher of Italian football, but Gasperini's one I've tried to follow because I think he's a really good coach, right? They obviously won the Europa League, and I think tactically he's brilliant, and they score a lot of goals. Gasperini's sides. He's now gone to Roma, right? But when I look at the players that they've had over the years, Atalanta, that Gasperini has had score goals. I mean, Rasmus Højlund's a prime example, right? He looked like an unbelievable centre forward over there, and he's come over here. And I mean, I think I'd do a better job half the time for Man United up front, and I'm useless, right? This is kind of the level we're talking. I mean, Evan Ferguson. I like Evan Ferguson. I thought he was a good player at Brighton. Didn't work out at West Ham, got some nasty injuries at Brighton. He's not looked kind of the same. He looks like he might be. He's gone to Roma. He's scored a lot of goals in pre-season. Got 7 goals in pre-season under Gasperini or something. And he's all of a sudden, his stock's rising again. I think Gasperini, Thomas Frank does as well, by the way, works well with players and improves players and gets the most out of players. But I do think the quality over there, I mean, McTominay just won Player of the Year. McTominay was a player that was decent over here. Probably slightly disrespected, but was decent. He wasn't an elite centre midfielder.
I don't know. I think Scott
McTominay.
I don't think Man United should have ever sold Scott McTominay.
No,
I think he
agree.
piped up with numerous goals for them on numerous occasions. He actually was a bit of a clutch player. I
do agree.
I get you. I do get your point. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dismissing what you're saying. I do agree that, you know, like I said at the start of my points, like in the Serie A, you can almost get more. You know, you can get more return than what you would in the Premier League. The Premier League is the hardest league in the world to adapt to. I think that's a fact. And I understand your point. Look, I'm going to be transparent. Look, at Leicester, he only got 6 goals in 26 matches. That's a pretty poor return. But he was only 22 years old at the time. He's now 27, 4 or 5 years later. You know, at Fulham, I know there's that infamous clip of him scoring a penalty. Only 4 goals, 4 assists. But I feel like that is very promising there, Frank. Look, 3 seasons, left wing mainly, maybe inside striker as well. 31 matches, 15 goals, 5 assists. 20 goal contributions in 31 matches. 31 matches the season before, 11 goals, 7 assists. Very good return. Same again in his first season. He's very consistent. And my point is, I think for a loan with an option to buy, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
The thing is, I just don't think it will be. I think they'll end up paying 40 or 45 now, because I don't think there's very little money in Italian football, and I don't think any of these guys will take not selling players now. We need to reach into our pocket. Then we need to be serious. You know, how many times are we going to talk about, you know, other players? For Savinho, we were prepared to pay 70 million, weren't we? 80 million. I do agree.
You see what I mean?
I just think it's about buying the right players. And if he was 22 or 23, I would have wanted him on the first day of the window, right? And I get that he's kind of going to his prime, and that's. But if you're hitting these numbers at 22, 21, 22, 23, then the ceiling is very high, right? If you're hitting them now, then you could be hitting double that at 26, 27, 28. My fear is the guy's 27 and he's hitting. I mean, there's comments. We need goals, and Lookman is the man. There's this comment here. I do get that point, and I'm not disregarding it. And as Jack says here, you're taking him over nothing. Of course I am, right? You can't afford to go into the season, as he says, without having another one or two attackers. You need so if he's the one that they pick, and if Thomas Frank wants him, then I'm all for it. But my kind of bit I kind of don't get is we're all sitting here raving about his numbers and his goals and assists, and why is they're pretty decent. Last year they weren't better than Brennan Johnson's in all competitions, right? And we're sitting here going, Brennan Johnson ain't good enough. I think a player like Lookman comes in, and by November, Brennan Johnson could be back starting on that left wing again. He could have broken back into that team. I think if Savinho had come in, it would have been very hard to knock him off his perch because he was perfect. I think, as I say, I think he's improved. I think he's far better than he was at Leicester. I think he's far better than he was at Fulham. I don't doubt that for a second. I just think we have probably lost out on better players that we could have got, and I think we're now sort of really scraping the bottom of the barrel with players that will be a decent fit, but I don't think they have the ceilings that allow you to become elite. I understand the point that Lookman contributes with dribbling and things like that. That's very true, right? I'm not disregarding it. I just think there is a better quality of player out there that are similar sort of players, and I'd like to think that a club that pays all the money they do for the scouts and the director of footballs and all this sort of stuff, that they can find players at 22 that are getting numbers that are not far off this, or their background numbers and their sort of underlying numbers are as good, but allow them to say, well, this is what's going to happen if he comes to the Premier League and whatever. So I'm a little bit skeptical at the moment, but that could easily change, and I hope I'm proved wrong if he does come to Tottenham.
No, mate, listen, I do get your point. But, like this point from Jack, Brennan's only scores goals because someone was saying, Brennan Johnson, he gets a lot of goals. His stats look very similar to those. Probably not quite as good, but similar. But Brennan Johnson can't beat his man. He can't do stuff with the ball. Lookman does beat his man. We brought up the stats the other day. I can do it again, right? And he delivers like here. He contributes to dribbling. He contributes to crossing, etc. So, anyway, we can debate the Lookman thing a little bit more in just a bit. Guys, there's 200 of you in the chat. I'm about to bring in our first member. As I said, if you become a Spurs-related member, down below, you can press join, or you can press the link in the description. You can join and come and have your say as well, literally on this show if you want. So just join as a member. It's £2 something a month. And I can send you the link over on Instagram or Twitter. And you can come on and have your say. But before I do bring in our member, which is Jack, guys, there's 200 of you in the house, and only how many likes? 50 something. I haven't refreshed it for a while. Last time I checked, it was about 50. Can we get that up to 100 likes, please, guys? Please make sure you are smashing the like button, smashing the subscribe button. We're on our way to 5,000 subscribers. Really appreciate all the support, and of course, turn on your notification bells. If you could all do those three things, which are free, that would be absolutely fantastic. So we're going to bring in Jack. It is his debut, guys. Let's show our members some love in the comments, and get your comments in to ask those questions for us in the panel. And let's keep going. So Jack, how are you doing, buddy? How are you doing, mate?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. Whereabouts are you based in America?
America, yep. Atlanta, Georgia. So there's actually a fellow Falcon fan. We have the Atlanta Falcons as our NFL team. So a lot of Spurs fans here.
Yes, mate. There is. You're right. This guy, Atlanta, actually, not to go off on one, but is a MLS team I like. So when they became a MLS team, I liked Joseph Martinez and Almiron, and then of course Almiron went on to do some big things. He's back there now. He's not doing too well, but good to have you on, mate. What's your thoughts on the Lookman stuff based on these stats? Then, what are you thinking on Lookman? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Frank? You're not quite sold on him. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm more with Frank here. I think a couple of days I said if we went off goals, I think everyone would think Brennan Johnson's the best player in the world, and we all know how good he is. So, I mean, I think we're missing a lot of goals from last season. No Madison, no Son, Kulusevski out until the turn of the year. So it'd be good to have some guaranteed goals in. But I do think we should go for the likes of Simons, Akliush even over him. And I know the Kanoos has gone quiet, but I do think Kanoos would be a really, really good addition. But I do think Lookman over nothing. I will say I was listening to another podcast. Liverpool and Arsenal are finished first and second. They've each brought in 7 signings so far. We've brought in 1 and a loan. So, and Takai, who might not play in our first team. So it's just kind of shows they're building off of phenomenal seasons. And I know we won the Europa League, and I'm wearing my Europa League shirt now. So that feels so good. I think we have the chance to really take the next step here, but we've fumbled the bag already. So I'm kind of scared where we're heading. But long story short, I do think Lookman over nothing, but we should push for some better options first.
Sure, I stick with you, Jack. Fair enough, and fair enough for sort of expanding on your point there, and sort of saying it's not just about the stats. You want a bit more in what a player delivers, and that's more than fair enough. Just to stick with you just for sort of another minute. Who would you bring in, and who are your top choices? Of course, we're kind of restricted. We got 5 days left, if that. And we, like you said, we haven't really got enough for the season. Like you said, Arsenal, Liverpool have signed 7-8 players. We've signed 2 players on a permanent, 2 on a loan, and it's just, other than Paulinho and Kudus, it's been a mess of a window. So who would you sign before the end of the window if you were the Tottenham board?
Yeah, I think I'd say Rodgers and XAVI Simons, but to be more realistic, I think Paquetá is a deal that we could do if they're interested in an instant injection of quality. I do also think we should go for Lookman if we can't get anyone else. I know some people are saying Simons and Paquetá. I kind of see Simons as the 10. I think he prefers that position over the wings. I do think a lot of attention was on Fofana at the beginning of the window from Chelsea. I think even we had some links, but Malik Fofana from Lyon would be a good signing as well, I think.
Interesting. I think, Rodgers will be hard to do now.
I think Rodgers is the dream.
Who was the other one you said at the start?
Simons. Paquetá. Yeah, Simons, Paquetá. I think Rodgers is the dream. I think if we could only sign one, which I think is looking more and more likely that we only sign one player before the end of the window, I think we should throw the kitchen sink at Rodgers and maybe fall back on a Lookman or a Paquetá. But I think Rodgers would take us to the next level. If we stayed healthy, I'm not going to say we could push for the league, but I do think that would be a lot more security of getting top 5, top 6 guaranteed if we get a Rodgers in. Whereas I don't think Lookman really takes us to that next level. Okay.
Guys, do you agree with Jack? Do you think a likes of Paquetá or a XAVI Simons would be a better move than a Lookman? I can't tell you what, engagement piece for the 200 or so watching. One player that you want to sign before the end of the window. I'm going to go through all the comments now. I'm going to go to Frank. Frank, who's your one player? I mean, we've obviously got your offline video if you haven't seen that. But who's your one player you'd sign? And before I come to you, actually, I'll leave you to think for 1 minute. I'm going to catch up on the chat because we've got Donna Cullen in here. Mr. James, I have breaking news from an ITK. I would break it if Mr. Frank Thomas shows some interest. And I've also had Donna Cullen in here saying, Wagwan to everyone. And then Mr. James say, you're looking very handsome to me. Well, that's excellent, Donna. Thank you so much. I'll make sure I, don't take you on a date. Listen, Frank, well, hang on a minute. Sorry. Lookman may be awesome and I'll be pleased to be wrong. But for context, McTominay, this is what you were saying, 12 goals last season, Moise Kean 19, Lukaku 14. It's fairly underwhelming, in my opinion, in relative. Roy saying no to Fofana. Guys, let's quickly for the one-word answers. You got Paquetá, Rodgers, Lucas Paquetá, Simons, Semenyo. I don't think we got Semenyo news. We haven't even got through, have we, Frank?
No,
a little link there. But yeah, Frank, sorry, waffling on. Who's the one player you'd get in now?
Just very, very quickly as well, and I think this followed on from the comment you brought up a minute ago about sort of McTominay getting 12 and whatever. It also says that the problem is now we've messed about all summer, and so it kind of feels like we're getting excited by someone that wouldn't have excited us as much a month ago. And that's kind of where I think we're at a little bit now with Lookman. I would say if I had any choice in the world, it would be between Rodgers would be the absolute dream, but as far as a more sort of realistic one, I'm quite buying into the idea now of Lucas Paquetá. Sort of every day that passes, I'm starting to like that idea a lot more. I don't know if you could get him, if you could entice him out, but there's something about Paquetá that I think quite excites me. I mentioned it in the video earlier on, but I saw a tweet, and I think it was probably a joke sort of tweet, but it said something along the lines of, he's basically Gibbs White if Gibbs White lost 10% of his ability but whacked it all on flair, right? And he swapped that 10% for ability for Brazilian flair and excitement. And I quite agree. You know, he's not maybe as good as Gibbs White, but he can do that sort of role, and he's going to get you off your seat. And so if that was an opportunity, I think Paquetá would be my realistic sort of one that I want now.
Yeah. Paquetá, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
I've started pronouncing it
build on that,
since the start
Frank.
of the video. Sorry, Jack.
I think, yeah, no worries. I was just going to build on that. I think that's perfectly right. Like, if a lot of West Ham fans and Tottenham fans even are saying he's not good enough, but if you went off of last season or the past 2 seasons with Paquetá with West Ham with Kudus, then you'd say the same thing. He's not good enough.
Yeah.
Doesn't show any hunger or interest. I don't think anyone in that team besides Bowen probably has shown any hunger or interest in the past 18 months. So I do think Paquetá would come in. He has friends there already. You know, he and Kudus had a great relationship on and off the pitch at West Ham. Brazilian friends as well. No more Savinho. I know that was a dream for a while, Savinho and Paquetá. But he has Richie, and I'm sure that he and Richie would strike a great partnership as well.
Absolutely.
I think I mentioned it last night as well, that there's a reason Manchester City tried to buy him last year or a year and a half ago for 80 million quid or whatever it was. I know the betting thing stopped it, but there's a reason Pep wanted him. There's a reason that they wanted him, right? Maybe he's not done as well as you say that, Jack, that at West Ham. If you go off that, then Kudus is a stinker of a signing, right? So, and we've all seen very quickly that whatever West Ham fans seem to tell us about Kudus is probably wrong, because they've got the ump about it. And I imagine the same would be about Lucas Paquetá. I don't think you get Paquetá. I think we probably left it too late. And I think the fact we've already got Kudus from this summer means it won't happen. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly one that I would like if Spurs could get it over the line. It's been called dim. Wow.
Absolutely.
Comment.
What comment's that?
That one you brought up, you lot including the chat, must be a little bit dim.
Oh.
Wow. He ain't coming. Semenyo signed a 5-year contract.
Tottenham Trev's football talk. Come on the channel, mate. Come on the channel. Have your say, mate. I'm up for a debate. Listen, I'm aware that Semenyo is not going to happen. We're just going to bring you the news, though, which is 1 second. So yeah, we've already brought up. You already did the homework, Frank. We've already brought up Lookman's stats. Here's the Paquetá news. Apparently, in the last 24, 48 hours, Tottenham have some calls to understand the situation of Paquetá. Why am I saying it differently every time I say it? I don't know. Semenyo has also been mentioned by Spurs in the last 24 hours, according to Fabrizio Romano. And to bring you even more, Paquetá is admired, but there is currently no interested. You know, the same stuff.
Monitored, yeah.
Monitored, keen. Is admired, but there is currently no indication that West Ham would consider a sale. I mean, can you imagine if West Ham sold us their 2 best players in one window? I mean, we're literally one of their main rivals. It's just going to go. It would cause carnage, cause absolute carnage. Here's the news on Nathan Ake. We'll bring that one up in a minute, actually. We'll bring that one up in a minute. But going back to talking about Semenyo and Paqueta. Semenyo, I think I'm going to shut this down myself. It would cost so much money to bring in Antoine Semenyo. Not only is he Bournemouth's best player, he's only just been given a 5-year contract to 2030. It would take genuinely, I'm not even joking, probably 100 mil to pay him out of that. It's just not happening. I don't know why we're even thinking about Semenyo. It's not happening, Frank. It's not happening.
So I'll tell you what I think it is. I was speaking to my dad. We spoke about Semenyo about a week ago, right? And he said to me, and he was spot on, that he said that I guarantee you by at some point near the end of the week, there'll be a rumour linking us to Semenyo. We play him this week, right? We play him at the weekend. It's such an easy rumour to just spin and kind of make up out of nothing just to unsettle him a little bit. And we play him in 2 days' time. So it's an absolute nothing story. But I don't think they're getting Semenyo. I'd love Semenyo, but Semenyo isn't one that's going to happen. But yeah, it's totally, I think, a project of unsettling him before we play him on Saturday, and in hopes that we win.
Absolutely. What's your thoughts, Jack? Do you think Semenyo just screams of desperation and just everyone losing their mind in the Tottenham hierarchy?
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's been too long. We've taken too much time to get our targets.
Well, good.
And it's yeah. I think it is desperation. Like you said, it's not going to happen for under 100 mil. Maybe it's mind games, like Frank said, right? Get their board thinking, oh gosh, Tottenham are coming in for him. But again, I wouldn't be scared if I saw Daniel Levy knocking on the door. He's been unsuccessful so far. So no, I think he would be a phenomenal addition. I think he would be the perfect Son replacement maybe next year. Again, national teammates with Kudus, I believe. So we would have both of the Ghanaian wingers in the team, not in AFCON as well. Same with Kudus, so we don't have to worry about that. So I do think it would be worth the 100 million probably, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Lookman maybe on loan, Paqueta seems like the most likely 2 signings that we'll bring in. I wouldn't be mad at that. Definitely not an A+ window, probably a B+, B- window. But I don't think I see Semenyo getting done.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Yeah, I like your idea about maybe next season for sure. I'm just going to catch up on chat and then we'll move things on to Nathan Ake. I mean, I actually like Nathan Ake. I think you suggested it a couple of weeks ago, actually, Frank. I'm going to catch up on chat, guys. The support is nuts at the moment. 200 of you in the house and still growing. Really appreciate it. I know I said I've only got 3 plugs. I think I've got 1 left. So I'm going to use it now. Please, if you're in the house and you're new, hit subscribe. Please hit subscribe. It's free to do so. Please like the stream. Everyone smash the like. How many likes are we on now? Let's have a quick look. I've got an advert getting played. 75. Everyone hit that like button. Let's get that up to 100 likes before the end of the stream, please. For more live streams tomorrow and more videos as well. And while you're going into the like and subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, because guess what? Every time we're live, you get notified. Every time we do a new video, put a tactical analysis and a match day vlog, some previews, a fan show, whatever we're doing, you'll always get alerted to it. And you can click on the, just smash my mic. You'll always get notified when we're doing live streams, so you can come and join us. So please do that. And yeah, it looks like I've just smashed up my mic. But anyway, let's catch up on chat. Enoch Out says Tottenham Trev's football talk. Tottenham's Trev, is that a YouTube channel? Let me know. Jack's saying Ake has great passing stats. We'll come on to Ake. Hold the Ake thought for now. Lars Martin said, I've read the latest. Question for you fellas. Are you 100% certain that Savinho... By the way, Lars, I'm going to take your question 100%. Keep interacting, but this is the type of question that creates talking points. So if you want to do a talking point, I'm not saying you have to, Lars, but you want to skip the queue because I've literally got 100 unread comments. Whack in a little super chat as cheap as 99p. Cheap as chips. It's cheaper than chips. And you can get your comment read out straight away. It says, question for you fellas. Are you 100% certain that Savinho doesn't come off in the dying minutes of the window? I can see a rabbit out of the hat. I'm going to go with Jack for this one. We'll get Jack's thoughts, then we'll get Frank's thoughts.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I think if we saw Rodrigo, the rumor mill for Rodrigo going to City heating up, and that was a potential, then I think Savinho would be on. But I think the fact that Rodrigo to Man City is dead also kills off Savinho. I've seen a lot of rumors. I think, Frank, maybe you said maybe we should go in for Rodrigo loan. I think that could come off in the last hours of the window. If Rodrigo doesn't get a move anywhere, we don't have a left winger in yet. Again, give ourselves time, give Rodrigo a starting spot in a Champions League squad. I think that could be the move. And then we move for someone big like Semenyo or someone else next summer. But I don't see Savinho happening at this point unless something were to change by next Monday.
Do you agree, Frank?
Tottenham Trev's football talk is not going to like this because I can see him typing in capital letters angrily in the comments. I actually could see this. I actually could. I'm not saying it will happen, right? By the way, I think there's a very, very slim chance. But it was kind of like last year when we were all told that Tell was coming to Spurs and then he weren't coming to Spurs. And then all of a sudden, about lunchtime on deadline day, it happened, right? It was just done, and he changed his mind all of a sudden. I think if Rodrigo was to look to get a move, we might go for him on loan. But if he's going to leave, I think City will want him. And ultimately, if City want him, then I think Spurs will always still sort of kind of be there to take Savinho because it appears they want him and that Thomas Frank really wants him. So I think it's unlikely. Very unlikely. But it also would not be the greatest shock to my system if I wake up on deadline day and I see that Spurs return to Manchester City with third and final or fourth and final, whatever it is, bid in hope. And then all of a sudden, in very quickly, things begin to move. So knowing, and the thing is as well, and as I say, it's World Cup year. Rodrigo's got to be playing. And so does Savinho, right? They both want to play as much football as possible. Rodrigo has an opportunity to play football if he goes to Manchester City. Rodrigo, maybe less so at Manchester United, Real Madrid, sorry. And Savinho has a chance to play football at Tottenham. And so I think a lot of deals that we don't expect and players that want to be or on the cusp of maybe playing for their country are going to happen in the next couple of days. And the rumour mill is going to start. There was a rumour last night, obviously, that Rodrigo was staying at Thingy. I still don't. I'm still not fully behind that. And I'm not coping or anything. I think Rodrigo will still leave Real Madrid. And if that's the case, then I think Savinho isn't 100% secure at Manchester City.
No, I do agree. I can't do it to myself anymore, guys. I can't just say like I get what you're saying, Frank. I do, but like Pulashi has put.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I bring some Fabrizio Romano news just very quickly?
Please tell me it's good news, please.
It's pretty good news, and I'm quite happy given what I went the tangent I went on 10 minutes ago.
Shall I bring it on screen?
Yeah, have you got it? Yeah,
I'll get it on the screen now. Sorry, what I was going to say while I'm doing that is if City want Rodrigo, Savinho probably leaving. That's what essentially you're saying, isn't it? This comment here.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of get the impression it all comes down to Rodrigo. They said that that Rodrigo is probably going to stay. That was from one source last night. If he does, then no chance. But if Rodrigo was to still possibly go, then yeah. There's a comment there about Dibbling as well. I really thought I'll bring that up. I really thought that Dibbling would be the sort of one that Tottenham would do late on. And I was quite surprised he ended up at Everton actually. But have you got the tweet? Yeah,
I have.
Have you got both?
Is it this one?
There's this one which is a bit more negative, and then there's a slightly more positive one.
Right. Well, you're gonna have to die. I went on Fabrizio's page. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll bring the positive one in a second.
Okay. So this one is I'm guessing this is via his YouTube because he does YouTube updates normally in the evening. This says Tottenham remain interested in the situation as XAVI Simons, but won't send any official bid and won't advance while Chelsea are still there. Sorry, I'm not going to lose my head yet because you said there's a more positive one, but why? Because we're getting little broed every 5 seconds by Arsenal and whoever else. Why don't we just come in over Chelsea and go, actually, no, we'll offer him whatever we want. But I'm guessing there's a more positive one, or is the other one not about Xavi Simons?
No, it's not. It's about someone that.
So I'm going to go off on one there, right? So why would we not? Tottenham are in an interesting situation, but won't send any official bid and won't advance while Chelsea is still there. Who cares?
I guess the argument, yeah. I mean, who cares? And you're very right. I guess the argument is that they think that if Chelsea still have any, like I said earlier, Chelsea still have any slight interest, and they do kind of want him, then Spurs will go in and Chelsea will just match it and pay over all the odds, which is it's a poor mentality to have. Yeah, massively.
It's pathetic. Sorry, that's pathetic. Again, you never know how much to believe of this anyway. Chelsea remain in negotiations, and for them to sign him, it's important for Nkunku to go. I'm telling you now, guys, clip me up. We're going to get Nkunku on loan. That's going to be our signing. Spurs want to be ready if Chelsea can't close a deal. Sorry, am I going nuts? I get what you're saying, Frank, but Jack, how are you feeling? For me, if sorry, someone put me out of my misery. For me, if we want a player, be serious. Go in, bid a nice amount. Leipzig sell him to us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get on the phone to him. Apparently, Thomas Frank's calling him now. Apparently, he's on the call to him now. What do you think, Jack?
I think the fear is similar to Eze. How if it was Arsenal and Spurs in the race, he was always going to pick Arsenal. Sounds like Xavi's fully set on Chelsea, wants to be a Chelsea player. If we go in for him, and there's still a chance that Chelsea could come back in, I think it's just going to be a repeat of Eze where we get our hopes up. We're in. I think Tottenham hierarchy are trying to avoid that embarrassment again. So, and I could even see Chelsea say, "Oh, we don't want him," and then we go in and then get our pants pulled down anyways. So
yeah,
we don't have, sadly, the polling power of Chelsea or Arsenal with some of these players. You know, with Kudus, it was easy. If it could be like that with Kudus every time, that'd be great. I do think that they're just trying to save themselves some embarrassment. I do agree with you, though. We should go in. We could tell Xavi Simons, we want to make you the poster boy of Tottenham Hotspur. We're a phenomenal club, the best club in the world. I could sell it to him, I think. I'm sure if we got Xavi in a room with us three, he would be a Tottenham player tomorrow. But yeah, I think it's just them saving face.
Do you think it's that, Frank? Do you think it's a bit of saving face and no more embarrassments? Considering we've had Morgan Gibbs White, we've had the whole stuff with Eze, we had a little bit with Hincapié, although I'm not too sure how much that was. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, a little bit, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of what I said, that I think they know that whilst Chelsea have any form of interest, they will match and go above and beyond what Tottenham will pay, right? If Spurs pay him 150 grand a week, Chelsea will pay him 200. And that's just how it'll work. And more often than not, he'll probably end up going to Chelsea, given that he apparently wants to go to Chelsea anyway. So whilst Chelsea seems to have any interest, I get why that would possibly be the case, but it's so frustrating. There's the other bit of news that he broke about Lucas Paqueta. Obviously, I went a little bit of a tangent about 10 minutes ago about how much I want him. So this is something that I'm quite excited about.
Okay. Tottenham had new contacts today with the agents of Lucas Paqueta, and he's an option being considered. He's open to leaving West Ham, apparently. So, what do you think then, Frank? What do you think on this?
I mean, ultimately, it depends on what deal you can get done with West Ham, right? Not him, because there's been, I'm sure, plenty of deals in the past where you've agreed personal terms, and there's been about 5 this summer with us probably that haven't then gone through. So it ultimately depends on what happens with West Ham, and I imagine that West Ham probably won't want to sell him, 1, to Tottenham, and 2, 5 days before the window ends. But if fair enough,
I mean, we're not, because we're not. Sorry, just quickly, Rom, we're not, because Xavi Simons, the BOMBA, if you want to say that's clickbait, it's not, because Matt Law said that we're in talks. So that's not, I'm saying in the title, Xavi Simons. I don't even know why I'm getting pressed about this. I'm so bored of people saying we clickbait. If you don't know the YouTube game, you don't know the YouTube game, and it's not even clickbait. So anyway, sorry, Frank.
That's all right. No, yeah, I obviously, as I say, I don't see a world where West Ham would be open to selling 5 days before the window ends. I mean, by the time it probably gets over the line, it'll be 3 or 4 days. So they obviously have to get someone in. Maybe El Canus is coming in. They've bought a couple of other players in the last couple of days, I think, as well, 1 or 2 others, or they put bids in. I'm not sure what positions those guys are. I'd have to actually do some proper homework on it and work out if they possibly could be replacements, because you could very easily argue that El Canus is your Kudus replacement. So it's just taken a while. So I'm a little bit unsure whether Spurs will be able to get this done. I hope they get this done, because the more I think about Paqueta, the more the idea of it excites me. I have to be honest. I was a little bit on the fence at the start, and now every sort of time I watch a clip of him on Twitter or I see another report or this or that, I'm starting to sort of really quite warm to the idea, and I think it could end up being a pretty exciting one. And I think given how well Kudus has started and how bad they all told us he was, I think that makes me even more excited about bringing in another West Ham player, because it's like, well, stay in your lane basically, and that I find quite funny.
Absolutely. Just bringing you a bit of news that is technically reliant on what we just discussed there with XAVI Simons and Chelsea. This is probably not good news, because AC Milan have made contact to explore deal for Nkunku, among other attacking options. Milan are in active talks for new signings up front, and Nkunku has been discussed in recent hours. Player open to leave Chelsea in final days. So this would suggest they're making room for XAVI Simons, maybe, or am I reading too much into that, Jack? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that's the Nkunku leaving would be the nail in the XAVI Simons to Tottenham coffin. I don't think he's going to pick us over them. Like I've said, if Chelsea are going in for him and we're going in for him, he's going to pick Chelsea over us, sadly. So I think probably the hierarchy are aware of this as well, and they're focusing, like we've seen, on Paqueta over Simons at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank, anything to add?
Yeah, kind of just the same sort of. I mean, there was the rumours yesterday they were going for Fermin Lopez at Barcelona. So maybe the argument is that they're going for someone else that isn't XAVI Simons, and that has slowed down. But they're certainly looking like they're probably going for a 10 sort of player. But then you could flip it and go, well, him and Jackson are probably going to go, and they brought in Delap and João Pedro. So it's maybe those replacements are already there, and this is just something that's taken a while to get rid of players. I imagine not, because Chelsea and they buy who they want, and they don't ever stop buying. So I imagine that's not the case. But you could argue that's possibly a thing. Sorry, there's a comment. Why did West Ham sell their best player? Well,
they already have.
Yeah. So
this is their second best player.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Bowen as well, but yeah.
If he signs for Tottenham, then he was their second best all along.
Absolutely. Listen, we're going to stay live for a few more minutes. The numbers are insane again, guys. I really appreciate all the support. Over 200 of you in the house, and have been for most of the stream. Hope you're enjoying the content. And guys, let me know in the comments below now with a number 1 if you'd like us to do a deadline day stream. So next Monday, I think the deadline is it 7 p.m, Frank? Is that right?
Yeah.
So it's 7 p.m. next Monday. Let us know if you want us to be live for 2 or 3 hours. So put a 1 in the chat if you do. And we will do a live deadline day stream for you all. Make sure you got your notification bell on to not miss that stream, as well as us going live daily and producing you the best content we can every single day. So make sure you've got your notification bell on. And while you're turning your notification bell on now, smash like, smash subscribe. Let's get up to 150 likes. We got 200 likes on the stream the other day. I think 250. Can we beat that again? Let's keep hitting that like button. Let's keep subscribing and turning noties on. Sean wants it. Andrew wants the deadline day stream. A1. So does Jack alongside me. Roddy Rock, Caro, Logan, AK, and Pelosi. So I think that's a resounding yes, Frank. So it looks like we'll be live next Monday. Hopefully discussing some transfers. Hopefully discussing some incomings. Great show. We're not done just yet. I want to just quickly, what was it? Talk about Nathan Ake. That's not Nathan Ake. That's Nathan Ake. Timothy saying that we're targeting Ake as a replacement for Luka Vuskovic. You can kind of believe that, considering Vuskovic has gone on loan, and we're trying to question why that is. Jack, do you think that Nathan Ake is a good incoming for us if that was to materialise, mate?
I do. I think he's a proven winner. Any player from City, I think, brings experience, the winning mentality into our locker room. I know we have that now, luckily with the Europa League. So, but he instantaneously enhances our back line. I think we've all been crying out for some cover, other than Ben Davies, who I think is, he's a legend. He can stay as long as he wants now, but let's be honest, he's not the cover we need if Mickey van de Ven gets a hamstring injury, which is more likely than not. I will say on that, I think Mickey getting injured feels inevitable, but I do think so far into Frank's system, he's running a lot less, doesn't have to cover nearly as much ground. So hopefully, I'm knocking on wood, that he does stay healthy, but it's looking like some of the injury issues should be alleviated somewhat. But I do think Nathan Ake would be great cover. Like we saw against us, he can cover left back if needed as well. So I think he would be the perfect signing. Like Frank said earlier, though, with Aït-Nouri going down, might not be willing to sell right away. So I don't know who else we could get in of that quality, but I will say Vuskovic going out on loan does kind of say that we are definitely going to, I hope, if we sent Vuskovic out on loan and don't bring in cover, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So we better bring in someone, if not Ake. I don't know who else. So hopefully Ake. I think he's phenomenal.
Absolutely, mate. And he can play left back and he can play centre back. So, I agree. I think we're running out of that kind of mould of player that's out there. Obviously, we've got Ben Davies that kind of does that. But, clearly they want a bit more backup for the 4 competitions. We've got to play Premier League every week, Champions League starting from, September. The draw for that is tomorrow, by the way. Or is it Friday, Frank? I've already forgotten. It's tomorrow, is it?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. And we've got the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, of course. So, interesting stuff. What we got here? So a loan for Ake would be great, says Andrew. Don't think it would be a permanent deal, though. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Can't see Man City. Go on, Frank.
I was going to say, I think that's pretty spot on, that you bring him in for a year. He gets game time ahead of the World Cup. Vuskovic gets a year of experience out on loan. Everyone's happy, right? And then you come in, Vuskovic will be 19 next summer. A little bit more capable of probably playing. Where we might not be back in the Champions League next year, we might be in the Europa League or the Conference League or whatever, possibly. So maybe that Vuskovic is actually more capable of then playing the European games, and I think it works out. He feels homegrown as well. It's another very, very good point about Nathan Ake.
And that's clearly something they need to prioritise to reach that quota, right? Because I'm pretty sure we're quite tight on that. So it's quite an important point. FA Cup and 5th this year in Frank We Trust, says Sean. Loving the positivity. Loving that. I'd take that all day long. FA Cup win and 5th. I'd take FA Cup win and 17th. I actually think I would. That buzz of winning a trophy was just something we've never experienced really, other than like Carabao Cup. It was just another level, that Europa League one. It was fantastic to see. What else was I going to say? Guys, let us know. Nathan Ake, would you take him? 1, if you do want to take him. 2, if you don't. And if you put 2, you've got to explain why. But final few points. Jack, I know I've already asked you of your dream signings, but if you could give me just 1 for the rest of the window, who is it and why?
Unrealistic, I would say Rodgers. I think, like I said, he instantaneously takes us to that next level. He's a player not just for now, but for the future as well. Do I see that happening? Probably not. Realistic, I think Paquetá is the perfect player for the summer. Again, we can't judge off West Ham current form, off their form last year, past 18 months. We've seen how Kudus has already elevated us to the next level. And he's the only player, Paulinho as well, only permanent player we've brought in this summer. And he's already made us 10 times better. So I think Paquetá, realistic. Unrealistic, Rodgers, but again, probably don't see that getting done.
Okay, very realistic in Paquetá. I was going to call you Thomas then, Frank. Who's your 1 signing? Is it still El Canous?
No. I don't get me wrong. I'd happily take El Canous if they got El Canous done. I think if they got El Khanous done, I'd want another attacker as well. I think that
Mm.
kind of has to be the benchmark. I mean, I still want 2 attackers, but I think I agree with Jack pretty much word for word. Rodgers is the very unrealistic one who I think, again, takes you up a level now and has that high ceiling that it can be what he wants in however many years' time. But I think Paqueta is at a point in his career where he might, if he comes to Tottenham, I'm not sure he maybe goes to Real Madrid, which is probably the step up, or Manchester City, the step up now. I think Tottenham would be a bit like when Solanke came to Tottenham and Maddison and these guys. That's going to be their peak, but they can perform at a really high level at Tottenham and turn Tottenham into a good side. And so I'm very, very, very for thingy right now,
Paqueta all round. And guys, people are asking, where's this bomber about XAVI Simons? It's there. Matt Law, very credible journalist of The Athletic. Tottenham hold talks over launching a bid for Chelsea target XAVI Simons. You know, we're in talks. Ben Jacobs bomber.
He's just said exactly the same as Matt Law.
Fabrizio.
Basically, I just saw a tweet from Paddy Power come up say that Spurs have registered their interest in being rejected by XAVI Simons, and that's kind of how the summer feels like it's gone, really, doesn't it?
I feel like this is James Davies in the chat because
it feels like it is, doesn't it?
You keep bigging up James Davies.
He's a big fan.
Oh, I'm only joking. Let's check out this James Davies before we wrap up. Actually, is this guy actually credible? I'm going to bring him on the screen. James Davies. I mean, what's his at? I don't even know.
I think it's just James Davies. One sec, I'll find it for you. Definitely like one of these.
Oh, here we go. James Davies 1212. He's got 2,000 followers.
I mean, put it this way: he states he's got an AI profile picture, and he says he's an ex-worker at the Mirror. I mean, everything about that suggests unreliability. But everything he's kind of said,
we've actually lost our minds.
Yeah, I mean, this is the life of a Tottenham fan. Yeah.
So he said, hearing that Tottenham's Frank will call XAVI Simons in the next few hours to outline the Tottenham Hotspur project. Player open to North London move with Chelsea deals stalling and outgoings blocked. Garnacho seen as their real priority. Real chance emerging for Spurs.
I just find it funny that there's this massive big meeting going on regarding the transfer of a £60 million player at one of the biggest clubs in Europe. Right, massive deal. And they go, we're telling a bloke with an AI profile picture on Twitter. And he's the one that's going to break that story for us. I find that a hilarious sort of... It sums everything up of probably what's wrong with the transfer window nowadays, to be honest.
Interesting.
But, I mean, maybe he's a genius, and then he's gonna tweet a clip of this and tell me I'm an idiot. But I mean, who knows?
Sorry, 1 second, Jack. I'll come to you in just a second. I know you got something to say. Ben Jacobs saying Spurs consider XAVI Simons with Leipzig, hoping for a bidding war. So Leipzig are just hoping for a bidding war here. Simons waiting for Chelsea. Adamola, Lookman, another target. Atalanta attacker was wanted by Inter, but deal off earlier this month. Lookman likely to cost around 50 million euros. I'm really buzzing to hear that Lookman is a target, but do you know what? Like, come on, target, just get it done. Like, I'm so bored of talking about this. Well, I'm not. I absolutely love it. Listen, that's part of the fun. But there comes a point where you're like, just sign some players. You know, I'm getting a bit restless. I'm sorry, Jack. What were you going to say, mate?
No worries. I was actually going to talk about this Ben Jacobs Bomba. So
sure.
I was going to say that 50 million euro, I don't know the conversion rate, 42 million pounds.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, it's about that.
That has Daniel Levy written all over it for a loan deal for a year with 35 million pound buy option at the end. I don't know. I can definitely see us ending the window with just Lookman. Sadly, I'm hoping this Simons news is good news. Again, I agree with Frank. It seems like a lot of the best news is coming from AI profile pics these days. But I was going to say that sounds like Daniel Levy, the 50 million euro. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, I do agree, mate. Yeah, 35 million. I'd take that in a heartbeat. A loan deal with a 35 million release clause. Sorry, buy option. Cool to say we're considering to make a low ball bid. Yeah, probably. It'd be interesting to see if anything does come out about XAVI Simons later. I have a feeling this one might heat up.
Yes,
Daniel Levy.
Sorry,
Go on.
I think something's brewing. Like something has to be brewing, surely, right? I know that's a really obvious claim for me to make, but something has got to be going on. This is kind of what I think, that comment there, that I think there's too much noise around XAVI Simons. Something's going to come out that nobody expects, I think, out of literally thin air, and it's going to be done. A bit like when Gibbs White happened, right? We all know Gibbs White, we all like Gibbs White, whatever. But no one really had a link to him to Tottenham or anything. And then all of a sudden, they're in talks. Here we go, as an hour later, right? In the click of a finger. I realised it didn't happen, but it was obviously got to an advanced stage very quickly. I think that there is too much noise, as that comment says, around XAVI Simons, that something feels like it's brewing out of literally thin air. And again, a little bit like Paqueta, a little bit too much noise. I don't know who this could be. I don't know where it's going to come from. My money would be at someone in the Premier League that we don't really think about. It was going to be someone at a... My money still is on Iliman Ndiaye. I said about this the other day. Inter Milan looked at him, and Everton were relatively okay with him going for £40 million. He can play on the left. He can play on as a 10. He knows the Premier League, and he's still young enough.
No chance.
That's where my money's at, Iliman Ndiaye.
I don't agree because I watched Everton the other day against Brighton, and they actually looked really good. And I actually think David Moyes has got a tune out of them suddenly. And I think that Grealish on the left and Ndiaye on the 10 or sort of on the right as well works very well. You saw them combine very well in that game. And I don't think Everton will let Ndiaye go unless it was an extortionate amount. And we know that Tottenham won't pay that. I can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, if it was too much, then I don't think so. But I'm sure, I'm just having a look now. I'm sure I read that there was a rumour linking him to the comment about AC Milan. It might have been AC Milan. It's one of the Milans. And it was sort of thought about Fabrizio Romano. Iliman Ndiaye has been offered to Inter Milan. This was over a month ago. So they're obviously relatively content with the idea of him going. Not maybe they want to, but they're obviously it's a little bit late in the window. Maybe they're okay with the idea. The fact that Grealish has come in, a couple of players have come in. I wonder if Ndiaye is one that at 40 million quid, which is kind of what was kind of thrown around, I think it was. I wonder if that's one that Spurs might do. Not that I've heard anything, but I think, let's say, something's going to come from absolutely nowhere, I think. And this is what we tend to do.
Interesting. Jack, any sort of thoughts around the whole, something coming out of nowhere? Like, who would you... I know we've discussed about Paqueta, but, Paqueta's already been talked about. Like, is there a player that we haven't been linked to yet? I mean, we've been linked with about 20 players in the last 2 weeks, and we've not really gone in on any of them. But is there any player that you're hopeful that we will suddenly be linked with?
I'm not sure. I love Ndiaye. I really do think he is the exact profile we need, especially if we were to only bring in one more player. I will say I agree with whoever said, I forget which one of you said it. Everton looked really good. I think they're going to make their new stadium a fortress. I think they could make a really good push to get top 10, especially if they keep their home form up. So I don't think they need to sell. I don't know what their FFP looks like right now, but I would love Ndiaye. Other players, again, I don't think any Spurs fan would have said Wilson Odobert this time last year when that sprung out of nowhere. I don't know. Fofana is completely quiet. I would love to see Malik Fofana. I've only seen comps, to be honest. I don't watch Lyon very much, but he looks really, really good. Again, I'm also kind of sick of just bringing in purely potential and young talent. So I hope it's not. I hope it's more so Paqueta. If it's Paqueta, Lookman, I'd be content with the window. Anything else, I don't think we're going to get better than that. So hopefully that's the minimum, but we'll see. But Ndiaye, yeah, I would take in a heartbeat.
Interesting stuff. Just out of curiosity, Ndiaye, guys, in the chat, 220 of you now in the house. The numbers keep rising. They just keep rising. And it makes us want to continue being live. I said to Frank in the back end, should we wrap things up? Because we kind of got to a point where we discussed 10 players. We've had Jack's opinion, Frank's opinion, my opinion. But honestly, the numbers keep growing. So we're staying live. So if you want us to keep staying live, smash like for me. smash subscribe, and turn the notification bells on. 3 easy things down below to do, and it's free to do so. It's so easy. And if you want to become a member like Jack below, who's been a brilliant, it's been a brilliant debut from you, Jack, by the way, and you want to come on the channel, simply just become a member. Press the join button or press the link in the description down below. Become a member for £2 a month and come and have your say. Come and join us. It would be great to have more of you on here. And of course, the super chat option is available if you want me to get a better mic that's not standing on a box where I can just bash it over and stuff like that to support the channel in any way. That is greatly appreciated as well, guys. But final few bits. I'm going to go back to the chat. Mitch is saying, James, mate, is it Paqueta or Paqueta? Do you know what? I was saying Paqueta, but now Paqueta is sort of what Jack's been saying, and so it's now steered me in another direction. Frank, what is it? Do you know how you say it?
I say Lucas Paqueta, but I'm also probably don't pronounce half these players' names right. So yeah, I wouldn't be the one to go to. I've got to be honest.
Mika Tedze, another one I can't pronounce.
I just want to say, very quickly, anyone that's joined late, we aren't actually linked to Iliman and Dye. I've completely brought that out of thin air just before anyone gets excited in the comments and the idea that Iliman and Dye might be on his way if you're a big fan. I brought that out of thin air. It was just more of a theoretical talking point. So yeah, that's just chucking that out there quickly.
Got it. Yeah. No, in Dye is there's no link. There's no link, guys. Don't get excited. Romero is reporting there's been a breakthrough in negotiations with Leonardo Demau. How many years of that do we have? I think we're going to wrap things up in a minute. What we're going to do for the last few minutes is talk about a potential 11 that you'd like to see before the end of the window. And in a minute, Frank's going to kindly share his screen, and we're going to bring up and have a little engagement piece where you guys tell us who you think should be at the left wing come the start of the season, who you think should be in the 10, who you think should be on the right. Well, Kudus, that answers itself. But who you think maybe should be on the bench as well. So we're going to discuss that. We'll get Jack involved as well. And then, we'll wrap things up in about 10 or so minutes probably. So, Frank, sort of over to you. I know you're just loading it up. To be fair, people still can't pronounce Matthias. I've probably got that wrong. Matthias Tell. Don't know. What is it, Jack? Matthias Tell?
I think it's Matisse, isn't it?
I'm with Michael George. I say it like Matisse.
Yeah. I think that's right. But...
Matisse Tell. We need Jackson.
No,
This has got to be a joke.
I think that's like saying we need the stadium to be burnt down. It would offer absolutely no positives to the football team whatsoever. Right, let me share this. So let's get this up.
Let's do it. And guys, before I forget, Frank did an offline video earlier. So after the live stream, if you want to go and check that out, it's already got 1,000 views on it. If you want to go and check out what we need to do before the end of the window with Frank, it's in our videos section on our channel. So go and check that out after. Maybe put a little comment in saying from the live stream, so we know that the live stream viewers are watching the offline videos as well, because it's a very different audience. Our engagement on our offline videos is a lot of different people to the live stream people. So if we can get the live stream people watching the offlines as well with your notification bells on, then we're going to get more people engaging in those offline videos. And I reply to every single comment, by the way, every single comment without fail. So get your comments in. Right, so Frank.
Yeah.
Monday, the 3rd of September.
Yes.
Sorry, Monday, the 1st of September. Getting ahead of myself. Who is it you want to see in that lineup in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt? Like what? So I think the back four is done. I think Spence is there.
Yeah, completely. Wasn't concentrating. Yeah.
Vicario in goal. Van der Ven, Romero, Porro. That's our staples. That's not going to be moved.
In terms of players that get into the first team, no.
I don't think that's going to be moved either, right?
For now, no.
Unless we're playing a 3-man midfield or a different formation than this, because this is essentially a 4-2-3-1. what are we saying here then? I'll get Jack involved as well. And guys in the chat, let us know. Kudus is going to be involved on the right. So it's really down to the 10, the left wing, and arguably the forward, depending on what happens with Richarlison and if his form continues. So for me, it would be in the 10, XAVI Simons. But I mean, are we laughing at ourselves here? Is he going to Chelsea? And you've got the bench as well. Brian Hill, Solomon.
I mean, this is the thing, right? You've got to argue. So Basuma looks like Basuma's still a Spurs player at the moment, right? These guys all look like they're probably going to go. Is there anyone else I'm missing? Like, probably is, but I don't know if I'm being silly. Let's just leave that for now, right? So those 4 are probably all going to still leave Tottenham, I would imagine, before Monday night. So your squad then comes, you've got 3 on the left wing and 1 on the right wing at the moment. So let's say Johnson's still a right winger. I know he's been used at the moment, but he's still your right winger. You've got Tel and Odobert. So you need another winger, I think, right? You're probably weak on the wings, I would say. Kulu obviously comes back, but that's going to be a long way away, right? So for now, we're talking about we are probably quite weak on the wings, so that's still a priority. As far as 10s go, you haven't got an out-and-out 10. Thomas Frank spoke about the other day, I think it was a Klopp quote, about how having a counter-presser in midfield is almost as useful, if not more efficient, actually, at times, than having an out-and-out creator or attacking midfielder. Because, I mean, when you see Pape Sarr just does not stop running, but that press and that energy creates chances in itself, right? As we've seen, I mean, he's been a part of, he got the pre-assist, if you will, in Richarlison's first goal against Burnley. He got the assist for Johnson's goal, and he was practically got the pre-assist in both the City goals. So he's been involved massively in 4 of the 5 goals we've scored this season. And he's playing in this 10 role. And so I agree, we need this 10 because it gives you a different option. Quite clearly, that's a role that he's thriving in. So for argument's sake, right, they need a left winger. They need still, I think, an attacking midfielder. Or let's call it a 10, right? So that's still a priority. I mean, I don't know about you, Jack, but I would also then argue they probably need a left-sided centre half. Do you think?
I agree.
Do you, Jack, think that's it, or do you think they need more still for now?
I think that's the minimum. I think we'll only get 1 in.
Right.
And I will say, looking at this squad here, again, I think that midfield is what we need to bring to all the big boys, right?
Yeah.
Big 6, top 8 clubs. We need that steel in there. I don't think if we get a Paquetá or a Akliouche or any 10 in there, I think we need Sarr in there. I think that's been the silver lining of having Maddison out, because we probably would have not had this midfield. And Sarr cannot come out of the squad. I think even if we do bring in a 10 and play him, I think either Bentancur or Paulinho will come out, like we saw Bergvall and Gray starting above Paulinho and Bentancur against teams who sit back more. I will say, though, in this lineup, and it's just making me think, do we really think Lookman is that much better than Johnson on the left?
This is kind of my thought of it as well. That I think he probably runs at people more and creates more and does that sort of thing more. But in terms of people appreciating Lookman because of the numbers and the numbers that he contributes, Johnson's numbers are they're very similar, right? They're not too dissimilar. So that's why I question a little bit the need, because Johnson, whether we love Johnson, the guy seems to be quite inevitable. He scored in both games this season so far in the league. And I think it was Ali McCoy said on commentary the other day that, he didn't get any minutes in the Super Cup. Best way to get yourself back in a team is scoring goals. And he's done it in both games. And so right now, he's probably the best left winger we've got, I would argue. The one I feel most comfortable with starting and playing and contributing. So yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, and I'd say it'd be better to bring in a out-and-out creator like a Ndiaye. Like you said, I think he would be perfect. I know we're not linked with him. I think Semenyo would have been perfect on that wing. Kudus and Semenyo with Johnson as a backup option is phenomenal. But again, I don't think that's going to happen. I think maybe getting Lookman in on loan so we can go for someone who really is Sonny's replacement. I don't think Lookman is Sonny's replacement. And I saw a comment that said he's Johnson with better numbers and better performance. I don't know, because is, I think they have very similar numbers, but Johnson is scoring almost 20 goals in the Prem, whereas Lookman is in Serie A, which is a great league, but there's not much talent that transfers well from Serie A to the Prem in history. I mean, I'm trying to think of many right now. Chiesa, I know, had problems even before he came, but he's riding the bench and he came from Serie A. I think struggling to think of anyone who comes.
I think
really
certainly
lights it up.
What I agree with is most of those that come over here that are good are defensive-minded players.
Right.
Like in the last year, we've seen Calafiori come over here and whatever. You look at Xerxes, Lukaku has obviously been over there. Xerxes, Lukaku scored goals over there. Moise Kean, Højlund, for Chiesa, 5 sort of prime examples of players that have played over there, done well over there, come over here and not done as well. I wouldn't disagree. I just want to bring up a comment very quickly as well. 2 comments. First of all, this one about, and I do agree, right, that this is why I think I still think you have to get a 10 and a left winger, because then you have options. You have options to go down the right, the left, essentially. You can play different ways. I think if you, as you say, if you don't have a left winger and then you have Sarr as your non-creative sort of 10, Kudus gets blocked off and then you become a little bit inept at points. And I do fear that. And the other one I kind of wanted to bring up was this one. If we all had to put our money on it, and James, I'll kind of come back to you now as well. Which player are we going to be linked to on Friday, day before any noise of protests that shuts everyone up for 24 hours whilst that game goes on? It's a hell of a question.
I mean, who haven't we been linked with yet? Marco Asensio, is that going to be the new one?
I don't think that would be enough. I think it's going to be someone for 70 or 80 million that's never going to happen, but it's going to shut people up for 24 hours. But I don't know who that will be.
Bowen?
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me. Someone that's started a bit slow, who is a good player that you could pick that you probably ain't going to get, but will shut people up. Yeah, Kevin Schadé's one I could actually see Tottenham going for quite late on in the window.
What's happening with Visser?
Visser, I imagine. I saw that. Is it Keith Andrews, their manager? I saw he said that he thinks he'll stay, or he's pretty certain he'll stay. Kevin Schade, I think, was left out. Has been left out of both their games so far. And I know that Thomas Frank liked him and bought him for a decent sum of money. I like the idea of Kevin Schade, and I would be quite up for it. That wouldn't shock me. When we talk about Ndiaye and players that come out of nowhere, that's the sort of thing I mean. That wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah. What do you think, Jack? Who's the random player that we're going to suddenly be linked with?
I think it's one that's being discussed a lot right now. I think XAVI Simons is going to heat up big time. I think it's going to kind of boil over like as I did, just how Arsenal went for him in the beginning of the summer, didn't kind of backed off. I think Tottenham are going to try to pounce on that, and then Levy's just not going to have enough steel to get it done. But I think I could see Simons being the player through the weekend who we're talking about all weekend, and then Monday comes and we end up with Lookman.
We've got a Ben Jacobs update, haven't we?
A new one?
Yeah, I'll bring it up on screen in a second. But yeah, just while I'm getting that on screen, you carry on this conversation about the 11.
Yeah. So then we put it here, right? Let's go. You get a backup you get another left winger, you get another 10. I think you could argue that they need another right back as well. Not now. This is probably more. These now are the priority for the last 5 days. I don't think they get all 3. I think they're a long way off getting all 3 for the last 5 days of the window. But they've got to be looking to try and pick up players in those positions. I think the right back is probably going to have to be a January sort of loan deal or young player in January or something like that. And then I think for the season, it looks like Richarlison and Solanke's going to be here. I think Richarlison will probably leave next summer, would be my guess. The one that I would really quite like is Kobbie Mainoo. I really like the idea of Kobbie Mainoo. And I think as another option in that midfield, I think he's a really top player. And I think he's someone that you could get because there's an opportunity there, which Tottenham tend to thrive on. And that's something that, Daniel Levy and co, and I'm not praising them, but tend to sniff out opportunities when clubs are financially screwed or this or that and pick up players when maybe they shouldn't have. A bit like they did with Kudus, that Kobbie Mainoo is there. He's not playing. He's unhappy. I think he was kind of brought through as a Spurs fan. Was the kind of belief, isn't there, that posted that picture in March time or whatever of him in a Spurs shirt as a kid. I think he takes you up a level when he's playing. It's a hell of a depth defensive midfield option to have as depth. And I think he's obviously played at the top level in the Premier League, Europa League, played in the Euros for England. I am very, very keen on that and would love that to be something that happens, because I think he's the sort of player that's going to end up being an unbelievable player for someone. United just seem to kill every player's confidence and career that they come across. And so that would be one that I think Thomas Frank would work well. And then you look at it in 3 or 4 years' time. Thomas Frank, if he was here in 3 or 4 years' time, which you've got to hope he probably is, you could have a midfield 4 options, then whoever else comes through, of Mainoo, Sarr, Bergvall and Gray all at the age of 23, 24, 25. I mean that has potential to be the best midfield in the country. Some might even argue Europe, right? But if they live up to what they should be. So I think Mainoo is too good of an opportunity to pass up in what could be a deal at 45, 50 million pound. I think the guy's unbelievable. So they would sort of be my ones that I'd go for now, I think.
How do you think Mainoo compares to a Wharton next summer? What would you prefer?
I think Wharton, I think it's tough. I think that the sole difference is Wharton probably costs you double the money. And I think Wharton probably costs you close to 100 or certainly 80 plus. I think Mainoo's 45, 50. And what I like about Mainoo is he can play as a 6, he can play as an 8, and he can play as a 10. And I think that versatility, I love Adam Wharton, and I really wanted Adam Wharton at Tottenham. I think solely because of the price with it, and I don't think there's a major difference in actually their ability. I think I'd take Kobbie Mainoo and that's solely because he probably costs you half the money.
Interesting stuff, guys. Kobbie Mainoo, 200 are you watching? 1 if you take him, 2 if you wouldn't, and if it's a 2, why not? Hope Gaming saying Kobbie Mainoo is very good 10. They've been playing him like a 6. Yeah, they've been playing him too deep. I agree. A1 Synergy saying he'd also love it. Here's the Ben Jacobs bomber. I say bomber. I mean, it's just an update. Savinho will stay at Manchester City as reported with Alex Crook last week. Tottenham now directly informed today, as Fabrizio Romano called. Spurs were prepared to bid again, but Man City's stance firm and no chance of an exit this summer now. Man City board not prepared to sell for any price. And the feeling within the club and at board level is sanctioning a Savinho exit would prove a mistake due to his high ceiling. So I think we can draw a line in Savinho to Spurs. Not happening. So we fumbled. Let's see who we fumbled now. Morgan Gibbs-White, for one reason or another. Sometimes you got to admit that wasn't our fault. Some of it was, some of it wasn't. Eberechi Eze, gone, done. Savinho, gone, done. Hincapié, gone, done. Have I missed any?
Dybala, Bruno Fernandes. I mean, you can go back for years.
Grealish, Ruben Diaz, Luis Diaz.
Yeah, I mean, this certainly isn't something that's new. It's painful because it's like we often, and I don't want to rant because I feel like I've ranted so much recently about Daniel Levy, and I'm almost drained of that sort of feeling now. But it feels like so often now, since Daniel Levy, we kind of just do enough, right? We never challenge by spending money. We do enough. We do enough to get us back into the Champions League, or enough to sort of have us about there. We don't ever do enough or do as much to make us compete, right? And it feels like this is kind of the same again. We're doing enough that we will improve. We might get back into Europe because we've got decent players, but and a good coach. But we're doing enough. If you go above and beyond, you can compete. Spurs have, and I don't want to get too excited because, as I say, we finished 17th. But Spurs have a starting 11, and you could argue a starting 13 or 14 of quality that can compete to be in the top 5 of the Premier League, right? They have a very comfortable side that is good enough to compete at the top 5. They are 4 or 5 additions away from competing in that top 5 every year. They're better than Manchester United as a squad and as a machine, right? they're better than Brighton. They're better than Newcastle. They're better than Villa. They're better than Forest. Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and Tottenham should be the top 5 at the moment, give or take, for the next couple of years. United are going to be there or thereabouts, but they're not perfect yet. They've got quite a few problems, I think. Spurs have every foundation and every bit to be a good side, but because they just do enough, we don't ever see it, right? And we might not see it, and that's really sad. We have an unbelievable coach, right? He might not work at Tottenham. He's looking like he's doing well, but he might not long-term work at Tottenham. I don't know. I'm not banking on that. But the guy's obviously tactically unbelievable, right? A lot of the big ones, Pep raves about him. They all seem to like him. So he's obviously very good. We've got him. We've got a World Cup winner at the back, who's now the captain. Unbelievable player. We've got Mickey van der Ven, who half of Europe would probably love to have. And I'm not going to list every player, but you could go on, right? That starting 11 plus probably Bergvall. You could argue maybe Gray, and maybe not right now, but Gray was sought after as one of the best young midfielders in the country last year. And then one or two others, like I really like Kevin Danso as an option and whatever. But you go, yeah, pretty much. And that's what we do all the time, right? We just, I mean, as I said, I went back to that Billy T tweet earlier on, and I said that maybe going for players that clubs aren't going to sell is a mental business plan. And it kind of is, right? It's like, I imagine there's a lot of people that watch this that use Vinted. Vinted is brilliant, right? If someone goes, I want 20 quid for something and I ain't going under, and you bid 11, they're probably going to get the ump at some point. And then they're going, you ain't having him now. And that's simply what's probably going on here, right? City go, oh, you want 80 million euros? We want 80 million euros. We'll give you 50. What's the point? Right now, in previous instances, like with Kudus, I said on here that I thought that when apparently West Ham wanted 85 and we bid 55 or 50, that to me said that they had indication that West Ham were going to go under. The news and the stories in the media said they wanted 80 or 85. Bidding 30 million is a big gap, right? It's a big difference. That's not the sort of thing that you do. Just you don't just walk in and go, we want him, we're going to pay you this. You have a conversation before you make a bid, or you'd like to hope you do, because that's their job, right? And so when they bid 50 million euros again this time round, I was kind of convinced that, City have obviously given some form of indication that you can get him for lower than the 8 million euros. Exactly the same when they went and bid 70 million euros. I was thinking, surely that's going to be enough. This isn't on Manchester City now. And anyone that says it's on Manchester City or Crystal Palace or Eze or Savinho, it's not. This is a Tottenham problem, right? That Marinakis and Forest is a different situation, and something that I'm sure one day we'll find out the sort of the ins and outs of what really went on then. But I think that'll be a long time until that probably happens. But deals like this are nothing on Manchester City. They're nothing on anyone else. You know, they have something that we want to buy. They are asking for a certain price, and we're not paying it. And yet thinking that by just killing the clock and killing the time and letting things go by, that one day we will get these. And sometimes it works, right? Sometimes you pick up players just by luck. And if we end up with XAVI Simons and we end up with whoever else, right? If they get XAVI Simons, Ake and a good left winger, that won't be because of some genius business plan. That will be solely down to genuine luck. And that Chelsea haven't gone for Simons and this and that, and it's all just fallen into place somehow at the end of the window. And it's a real concern when a multi-billion-pound operation relies on luck and others failing around them.
Absolutely, mate. Clip that one up. Guys, let us know what you think in the chat. We've been live for nearly 2 hours. It has been quite the stint. Really appreciate all the support. Please do me 5 massive favors that take 1 second each before you go. 200 of you in the house. If you enjoyed the stream, smash the like button. Let's get up to 200 likes. Smash subscribe. We're on our way to 5,000 subscribers. Both free to do so. Turn on the notification bell. Give me a little ring, ding, notey bells on in the chat. The 4th favor is to also go and check out Frank's video that he did earlier, which is a great video offline. So if you want to go after and watch some more content, Frank did a great offline video
this
earlier.
Channel, that is, as well. just
on
as
this
a
channel.
point,
But if you want to see more of Frank as well, please, I've just spammed it in the chat 4 times or 5 times. Please, please, please go and subscribe to Frank. Go and click on this link now and go and subscribe to Frank's channel. You don't even have to come off this stream, although we are wrapping up now. And go and subscribe to Frank. He does lots of short form content and stuff like that. Talking ball, you're going to have to watch and repeat because we're going offline now. Great debut from Jack as well. Jack, did you enjoy coming on, mate? And that's the other thing. People can come on this show if you become a member below. It's in the description and it says join as a Spurs-related member. I think there's a join button if you're on laptop. So please, 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 if you want to become a member like Jack has done, you can come on the show. Jack, did you enjoy it today, mate?
I did, yeah. I was going to say it's, I think in US dollars, $1.99 or something like that. So probably similar in pounds. But again, I know everyone in the chat's probably just as passionate as I am about Tottenham. And, you know, especially in America, can't always talk about it with a ton of people over here. There's a lot of Spurs fans over here, which is phenomenal. We're growing. But yeah, definitely worth the £1.99. Would love to come on again. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys. And yeah, thank you for the opportunity here.
No problem at all, mate. Thank you so much for coming on. Is my mic working?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
you're
cool.
Good.
So yeah, Jack, thanks for coming on. Like we said, guys, yeah, lots of people showing the love, which is really great. You got ding ding in the chat from Abdul Rahman for the notification bells on. Make sure you're doing that. Someone else also said you had a great debut. Here we go, DFST. So yeah, thanks for coming on, Jack. Really appreciate it. I'm sure you'll be on again. And big up to Jack. Guys, as I said, like, subscribe, notification bells on, subscribe to Frank's channel. I've just put it in the chat again. Let's get him to 300 subscribers. We should be able to do that with everyone in here. And become a member if you want to come on the show again. Super chat's available if you want to contribute. And guys, we'll see you again tomorrow for another live stream or piece of content. And as always, guys, remember, come on, you Spurs. Come on, get something done. I'm losing patience.